mini, we didn't go into it as much as you did with Joey. I brought in about 5% of my closet and Lori helped me pull together and and jackets, and then said, no, it doesn't work. And then she said, this in ways that I never said. I'm a very traditional person, and I only think in one way. So she has got a lot to say, and let me tell you that we are taking your questions throughout this webinar. All you do is write in the box, and if you're just joining us, please mute. We are going to be communicating with you via the chat box. So if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in. Before we jump into these 5 keys leadership look for women, I wanted to ask those of you who are out there listening to us in the webinar audience for your opinion on this idea of a leadership look for women. And if you would give us your definition, how would you define a leadership look for women in about a sentence or two, just very, very briefly, and then we can go from there. So go ahead and write your comments now. What is your definition? How do you see leadership look for women? I know that we've all heard dress for success mantra for decades now, but every decade the definition changes, just like the fashions. And so I'm really curious to hear what your definition of leadership look for women. So we have someone here saying leadership look is a very traditional. Oh, please. Thank you. It's very traditional tailored suits, skirts, or pants. That's my idea of a leadership look. That's what Nancy says. Another one. Well, it all depends on where you're working and what kind of business you're in. Leadership look for women mean different things to a COO than it does to a traffic manager at Google. This one from B. Reagan. A well put together look, current and appropriate for the industry. There's another one, appropriate for the industry. Oh, I love this. I typically wear pearls, earrings, and necklace, much like Miss Ringo.
Sounds like you've got a fan base out there, Marilyn.
I love it. Interestingly enough, I learned from Lori in our time preparing for this that there is an actual size of pearls to fit your age. I never knew that before. The older you get, the bigger the pearls should be.
That's right. So if you have reached your prime and your pearls haven't, it's time to pass them down to your daughters or to a nice niece and upgrade to a larger diameter pearl.
Well, we're going to get a lot more like that. Lots of gems of wisdom from Lori. But Lori, let's ask you, before we get into these 5 keys, how would you define the leadership look for women?
Look, it has tradition, and it also is appropriate for the occasion. But really, these 5 keys are going to help. Anything that helps you look appropriate and confident, and it helps you share a message or that goal that you're trying to reach. But that is also those keys that we're going to talk about. Now, Marilyn, here at Speechworks, you are an expert at helping people present their personal best, and I'm here to help you look your personal best.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about our visual presence at Speechworks, and often people will come up with, we ask them, what do you think visual presence includes? A lot of them will say, your eye contact, your face, your body language, and often people will come up with what you're wearing and how people form judgments immediately from what you're wearing.
It's true. It takes 1/10 of a second to make that first impression. And people don't want to think that they're being that judgmental, but our human brains are hardwired that we are making these judgments between safe, unsafe, trustworthy, untrustworthy. And so it is very important that your look, your appearance, your apparel give the message that you're.
You really are sending messages.
Yes.
With your apparel and your appearance. Okay, you ready? Let's get into what are the 5 keys to a leadership look for women. And we are okay. my technological guru to come in here and do our slides.
So, 5 keys for a leadership look. First, Marilyn, we're going to talk about fit. Then, attention to detail, hygiene, outerwear and bags, and then distinctive accessories.
Okay, and so the very first one, let's talk about that. Fit.
A perfect-fitting suit says you pay attention to details. Don't let your appearance detract from your final point or goal. A loose-fitting suit, something that's oversized, maybe puddling pants, very long pants, may say that you are not, you don't pay attention to detail. A suit that's too tight, especially like across the hips or across the bust, may say it's been a long time since you've updated. You may not be aware of what the latest thing is in your business world as well.
Something that I've had in my closet for about 15 years and always worked and maybe doesn't work so much anymore.
Well, today's look for suits, it is a trimmer fit. Okay? The jackets, the best fitting jacket, we can start with the jacket. The shoulder seams do not go past the point of your shoulders. The hem of the jacket should be at the midpoint of your hip, not covering your bum or really riding too high. Now, of course, there are crop jackets. There's long jackets like to the mid-thigh, but if you, especially someone petite like you, Marilyn, should wear a jacket that ends right at the midpoint of the hip.
Even should that fashion return, which was that long kind of boxy male jacket with the big flat pad, God forbid that should happen. But even if that fashion should come around again, just stay away from that. So I know I should because I'm 5'1".
Well, remember these that I'm sharing with you are for women, and I'm a big proponent of helping women look feminine with looking sensual, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the fit should create an hourglass figure. Whether you have a perfect hourglass figure or not, a jacket can create that by fitting properly. Now, most people cannot get a jacket right off of the rack and have it fit. I'm a big proponent also of tailoring. You can take a $200 suit from Ann Taylor and have it tailored to look like an $800 suit.
And because it looks like it was custom made to fit you.
Correct.
So we should all include a tailor in our consultant.
Yes. Now,
group.
a lot of in some department stores, they offer tailoring there, but ladies, don't be discouraged if you say that you can't find pants that fit, you can't find a suit that fits. Rarely does any woman just pull right off of the rack. Always, I recommend a little bit of tailoring, a nip here and custom the hem.
Now, you talked about the length of the trousers. What about the woman in the middle of the picture? Is that puddling? Is that too long, or is that okay?
That's a great question, Marilyn. That is just a nice, deep break. We'll talk about later on in some of the other slides when we have specific about the pants. We can move on to the next slide. It's actually about the skirt length.
All right.
Now, there are a lot of suits out there, especially in the lower price point where the skirts are above the knee, but the most flattering skirt is right below the knee. It ends at the woman's small part of her leg, and then also when you are sitting, you need to test it, that the hemline should go no higher than just above the knee when seated. Again, you don't want to be a distraction from this leadership.
You don't want people looking at your side when you're seated. How many people actually consider trying it out sitting down in the dressing room?
That's why they have those seats in the dressing room. If they don't, then come out of the dressing room and find a seat.
Of the length of the skirt, and I know a lot more women are wearing skirts and dresses. The hemlines go down according to the fashion world again.
Right. This advice that I'm giving today, Marilyn, to our ladies who are interested in leadership look, this is the traditional cut and fit. This will not go out of style. Right here, that pencil skirt is for all body types. Whether you're curvy or whether you're very slim, you can find a pencil skirt that fits, and ending right below the knee is the most appropriate skirt length.
I actually read recently that Coco Chanel she's the one who came up with this idea of right to the knee or just below the knee is the proper hemline.
and that tradition has carried on, and it's still true today.
And Coco knew what she was talking about. What about suits versus jackets? So we have somebody asking us a question that is, let's see, Anne wanted to know, what about suits versus jackets? Should we back up to her? And then I think most women are wearing suits, are they not?
Yeah, I think what Anne is asking, we have the fabric of the same on top and on bottom. Every woman should have a suit, and no matter what stage of life they're in, because you can break up that suit. And you know, Marilyn, I'm a big believer in getting the most use out of your suit as possible. So that means finding a great pair of slacks or skirt to go with that jacket, maybe finding a different jacket that will go with the pants. I love that. It's a great way to get more use out of your wardrobe. Now, in some cases, especially attorneys, and when they're working in the courtroom, I always recommend a full suit, or I recommend at least a neutral color. Just you are creating a respect for the court. But I am a big believer of mixing those top and bottoms.
Okay, that's all right if you want to have kind of a lean, longer look. Whoops, speaking of longer looks, look at this gal here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what are we putting out here?
The upper hem length for your pants. So here, showing the back heels of the woman, the prop hem length should be 1/2 an inch above the ground. You don't want a lot of puddling, and you also don't want a stovepipe look where there's no break at all. And if you have different shoes that you wear at different, with different heel heights, that would have your pants hemmed to different heel heights. Well, take those pants. Take your trousers to your tailor, and then if you plan to wear just lower heels with this particular suit, have it hemmed to that. If you want to wear higher heel for something else.
I have a couple of questions here. Here's one from Karen, getting back to the skirt, I presume. Where should the slit stop? Is a single slit better than a double? Here, let me back up. She was looking at, yeah, that's a double pleat in the back, yeah?
Oh, so now you're talking about something very near and dear to my heart. If you find a slit in the back of your skirt that's going up to like the middle of your thigh, I always recommend having a box pleat, a little bit of liner tailored into the back of the skirt. It won't inhibit your gait at all. You still have that movement because that's what the slit is for in a pencil skirt, but it gives you that modesty.
You're not showing a lot of flesh when you're
but
not
I'm a
expecting
big believer in adding a liner, a box pleat in that.
And that's something your tailor can do for you.
Yes.
When you find that tailor, or at the store that you may happen to go to. I would just like to point out that here is wearing some pretty serious stiletto heels, and many of us cannot wear those heels. For those of us who work here at Speechworks are up on our feet a lot, and they're very, very uncomfortable. If you can, and I think they look great. They make everybody's legs look great. They just look beautiful. It's a nice finished look. What if you can't wear those?
Oh, there are a wonderful selection of shoes out there for women who want heel heights of all heights. Whether you wear wedge, whether you wear heel or a more of a substantial heel. There's something appropriate for everyone.
Very good. And we just need to make shoes a little more padded when we're standing up during a long day. Okay, shall we move on from this lovely woman here? Okay, good. Here we go.
This next slide, Marilyn, talks about, I want to recommend that cleavage is not a leadership look. Again, I want to reiterate that we can look feminine without looking sexual. This picture is not just a hard and fast rule. This is the only neckline that is appropriate. But I want to remind women to be just more aware if their cleavage is showing they're really not putting forth their best message. They're actually distracting from the message and the goal.
Very much a distraction, and I've noticed, I pay a lot of attention to what women on television are wearing, having been on television in the past and seeing the huge differences in what is happening. And I noticed that there are tighter sweaters, there are lower, what do you call these, necklines, and even a little cleavage showing on some of the networks. And a lot of younger women are getting the wrong cues from that. I mean, that's, of course, I'm from a different generation, but I feel that that's the wrong cue.
I totally agree with that, Marilyn, and it is true. Whether the actors on television or some of these the television hosts, they're wearing skirts that you see most of their thigh, or they're wearing something sleeveless, and we can go on and on about. Remember that there are personalities on television. Most of the women here that we're addressing through the webinar are not television personalities, and so we really need to dress holistically. And I'm not saying that we need to dress like a drone, and I'm not saying that we need to be ashamed of our femininity, but we just need to keep it in and make sure that we're selling ourselves in the best way possible. I
know even news anchors are basically an entertainment business, and I suppose we should keep some of that in mind. And also notice that there are a lot of sleeveless looks, sleeveless dresses, sleeveless blouses, particularly in the summer. What are your thoughts on that? And you're showing this not necessarily because this is a good sleeveless look. This is more for the neckline.
That's correct. But it is to remind us to address the sleeveless issue. There are corporations here right in Atlanta that they recommend that their female employees wear sleeves. And it's actually more for a professional look. The great thing about having something sleeveless is that there's wonderful jackets and little that you can wear over the top to actually complete the look.
I think Obama, our first lady, got us on the sleeveless kick because she has these really gripping arms. And she wears those sleeveless things very well. Let me just at this point stop and remind you that please send in your questions. Ask us any questions that you have. Just type your questions in the chat box, and Lori will answer them for you. Shall we move on? Oh boy.
So the next point, the key to a look is attention to detail. And so I brought out this picture of a run in the pantyhose. This happens every once in a while. It's just once you've got that great suit, you've got the great shoes, I want you to pay attention to the maintenance of your clothing. Make sure that your dress shirts and your dress pants, your khakis, that they are dry cleaned, that they're well ironed. Having a sharp, smooth look says that you're aware of the fine details of your attire and other areas of your business life. Make sure that the pants hems and your shirt collars, if they start to fray, replace them.
What if you're at work, however, and this can happen, and you happen to be wearing hose, you sit on something, and there's that big old run that you're trying to hide the rest of the day.
Oh, I always recommend this for my ladies who wear nylons. Keep an extra pair in your desk, in your car, in your purse, so that you're prepared. It's just like having one of those mini sewing kits.
Here's a question from Jan. She says, "What about the bare leg look? No one seems to wear hose anymore."
Oh,
Should we go?
Thank
should we move?
you.
Well, here are the nasty looking shoes. This goes to your idea of let's get some shoe polish out. Let's take care of things. But should we?
Should we
go ahead to
we
that?
can address that
Here we go.
later.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do it
now.
right now.
Let's do it now.
So nylons are appropriate. They're still appropriate in many workplaces. There are corporations that this is part of their dress code, and so especially wintertime, I have clients all over the nation, so I give different advice for different climates. But in the wintertime, I always recommend having a pair of nylons, a pair of tights. I have a picture here of Princess Kate. She actually wears nylons everywhere she goes.
She is wearing hose in this picture.
That is correct.
That is unbelievable.
Yes. So this is a brand called John Lewis. It's called No Slip, Barely There. You can buy them for around $7.50. It is a UK brand. You can buy them online. It takes about 2 weeks. And we know that Princess Kate has great legs, but she also is appropriate for the occasion. And Marilyn, I want you to know that when I work with clients of a certain age or a certain lifestyle, I'll on a pair of pantyhose as well. For ladies who think, oh, I think I would be strangled if I wore a pair of pantyhose, then I would recommend a fishnet stocking in nude, okay? And they don't actually add a lot of control on top. They're very breathable. Just make sure that the gauge is very small. The bigger gauge, the more it's for play, not for work.
It won't make you look like you're in the Cirque du Soleil or anything if you're wearing fishnets, like you're one of those acrobat types.
No.
Okay. Let's go back. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about?
Well, we'll go back to that slide
Okay.
because there's something else we haven't addressed there.
No, which one?
Well, we'll talk shoes. This again goes back to attention to detail. Have your wonderful shoes, maybe they're a designer brand, your go-to shoes, but make sure that the heels are not run down. Make sure that you keep your shoes polished. It's a good time. Fall is a great time to reassess your fall wardrobe and really see what condition those tried and true shoes are
I
in.
cannot believe anybody would actually go out in public with a pair of shoes that look that bad.
How often are you looking at the back of your heels, right? But other people are, and this can compromise your leadership look.
Okay, Elaine asks, about shoes, find a cobbler and get heels replaced as needed. That is Elaine's. There are plenty of cobblers out there.
Yes, great advice. Yes, you take care of your shoes. You can always recommend storing your shoes in a clear plastic box to keep them from getting scuffed and dusty in the closet.
All right. So, colors. Okay, I did notice in some of those earlier slides that the colors were fairly neutral. They were blacks, they were grays, they were charcoal grays. But color, I personally love color. This goes by days on TV when color just kind of pops on the screen, certain colors.
That's right, Marilyn. So these examples that I showed, I'm not saying a leadership look is just black or gray or brown. You can add color, and I'm a big proponent for color. And so for the ladies today at the webinar, I wanted to share colors that are universally flattering on every skin tone, and that is a dusty plum, this beautiful color, a true red that is more of a bluish red, and then this champagne blush pink. It's not a baby pink. It has an undertone of pink, and then also cobalt blue. Now, if the ladies are actually seeing our presentation visually right now, they're probably looking at that cobalt blue and recalling, oh, I remember when I had that dress, that blouse, that jacket, that I just knew I looked fantastic in, because that cobalt blue is good for all skin tones. Now, Marilyn, you have advice on what to wear for video conferencing or television.
We often get this question because so many people do work, they're communicating via teleconferencing, and it's really important, and again, this goes back to my experience from being on camera. Under teleconferencing situations, the lighting is usually less than optimal. It's usually a fluorescent light that just totally washes you out. So I recommend, if you are going to be wearing, say, a blonde or charcoal gray suit, at least wear a color that's flattering to your face, that's going to reflect color into your face, like this mellow rose, maybe a peach or a salmon, or even an off-white. That works really well. This blue, what are we calling this?
A cobalt blue, royal
blue. This is probably one of the most flattering things that see on television. In fact, I even recommend men that they go in the blues as far as their shirts, and I help people a lot with media training and that sort of thing. Red, we say, try to stay away from cherry, fire engine red.
Mm-hmm. So this is more of a bluish red, and I promise you that this color looks good on all skin tones.
And eggplant is one that should be coming up a lot in the fall.
Oh,
definitely. It's very, very flattering. Okay. Oh, there she is again.
So here we are. We're still on attention to detail. So the model on the left there in the red dress, I want to recommend that everyone go into foundation wear. There's a lot of jersey dresses out there. I'm wearing a wrap dress today. Give a smooth, confident silhouette. Look in foundation wear. I'm not necessarily going to recommend brands over the webinar, but if you haven't looked at foundation wear in a long time, there are a myriad of brands out there. It's not your grandmother's girdle.
I was going to say foundation wear has evolved,
Yes.
and it is not as uncomfortable. Around long enough to remember how uncomfortable some of this
And a smooth look is a leadership look.
I probably wouldn't be wearing a dress like that in a conference room, however. Are we just showing this mainly because it illustrates the foundation wear and what a difference that it makes?
So dresses are part of a leadership look. There are more dresses in the workplace than ever before. You can find them in menswear patterns that actually have a jacket that goes with it. But if you, I always recommend have a full-length mirror. Look at the back, make sure that you are as smooth and as confident as you can be, and you would be surprised what foundation wear can do for you.
So what are the best pieces of foundation wear that we should have?
It really depends on where your supposed body imperfections are. Some women are worried about their middle,
the muffin top, the old muffin top.
About hips and thighs. It just really depends. There are foundation garments that cover you literally from shoulders to the knee. So there are kinds out there.
The difference in terms of how you're perceived and how even the size that you are, if you're wearing the right foundation garment.
The right foundation garment can your overall silhouette, your posture, everything.
And it goes to that very first idea, fit. Also,
this is attention to detail.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you'd like to say about our Duchess Kate here, other than her fabulous, unbelievable hose that she's wearing? And by the way, we will have information about some of these folks that you've brought up, or contact us through our website at Speechworks. You said John Lewis was the name of the
John Lewis, non-slip, barely there.
Non-slip, barely there, and it's beautiful. Oh, well, if we have a question, let's just go back to the hose. About not wearing hose, you talked about this briefly. It seems like for the last couple of years, that's the style. Even in the frigid winter, if you're trying to be fashionable, you do not wear hose.
Oh, well, I know who's wearing bare legs out in the middle of winter besides someone who really prepared for the winter.
Maybe those for summer.
It depends on your corporate situation. And if you feel confident, make sure that the skin is in good condition. If you feel confident, then go ahead and do a no hose as if it's okay with the dress code for the corporation that you're working for.
Okay, great. We have a question from Deborah. She asks, are tights appropriate if you want to cover varicose veins and other leg imperfections? We are seeing a lot more opaque tights in the fall and winter.
Oh, yes. The wonderful thing is they come in a variety of colors, and I love to have some that have a little bit of detail. You get them in black and gray and navy. Burgundy is a great color for fall. I think it's totally appropriate. I wear them into the fall, especially because I have clients all over the nation. I'm getting ready to go to Boston here very soon. I won't be wearing bare legs there, I promise you that.
I understand. Now, I have noticed every now and then some younger women will come into our workshop, some of our younger folks, and are wearing tights or with a tunic or something like that over the tights. What's your thought on that?
Leggings and a tunic. Number one, I want you to know that I like leggings. I own leggings. I like tunics. I own tunics, but I do not wear them in a professional environment. They have no place really in a professional environment. So just save for your off days.
Would you consider that business casual?
No, ma'am.
Not even business casual?
No.
Which someone brought up a question about business casual. Maybe we could go to let's just change the slide here. We are going to move on to this in a minute. But what is business casual? What do you consider business casual?
Business casual is sharp. Business casual has some structure to it. So you should have at least one piece of clothing that has some structure, whether that be a structured ironed shirt or a structured nice ironed pair of slacks, and the rest can have a little more fluff to it, if you will. That's where you can, on business casual, you can wear your signature, a wide belt, maybe a striped skirt, adding color, ruffles, things like that.
But it's definitely not flip-flops and shorts and that sort of thing.
No.
Yeah. You work out in Silicon Valley. If you're a woman out in Silicon Valley, I bet they don't wear flops and shorts.
Well, the women tend to dress a little bit better than the men out there in California at this time, but I promise you that the clients that I help, they still wear a jacket out there. And I'm talking about the men. They'll wear a great pair of jeans, a very stylish shirt, and then a casual jacket.
I did see where hoodies are on the runway for men. I'm sorry. Lori's eyes were just enormous. Oh, my God. Fashionable hoodies. All right, somebody's asking, your thoughts, Lori, on open-toed shoes. Maybe find a shoe here.
I love open-toed shoes. I think that they're a wonderful precaution. Your dress code says that you need to have like a closed-toed shoe. In most cases, they'll allow you to have like a peep toe, which is appropriate. Make sure they're in good condition. Make sure that they are leather, or that they are suede, that they're in a professional fabric as well.
What about the platform shoes? Now, Kate here has just a very slight platform on her shoe. Sometimes you see some really high platforms in the store again. What do you think about that in the workplace?
Well, we've all been to the store and we've seen those oversized shoes and wondering who's wearing those. Really, not many people are actually buying those shoes. That's why they display. So I would always recommend for my people looking for a leadership look, have a great pair of black pumps, and also have a pair of nude pumps. Matches your skin tone. They'll go with anything in your closet.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. We're moving on to another one of the 5 keys. And what is this, Lori?
We're going to talk briefly about hygiene. Your nails, hair, makeup, and your perfume can exude a leadership look, or they can detract from it. In this case, let's start with the nails. I'm a person who loves to give manicures. I wear acrylic nails at this point in my life, and I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but if you do, keep your nails at a moderate length. You don't want your nails to distract from, again, your leadership look for the goal that you're trying. And a strong or too fiery of nails is just as distracting as someone who actually is biting their nails too.
So you would not recommend turquoise nail colors or cherry red nail color, which are all very popular.
Right. Or black, blue. The great thing is that you can wear those colors when you're on vacation. You can wear those colors over the weekend. I mean, these colors don't last forever, and that's why it's something that you can change. I have a picture here of something very, very modest, very nude, and that, again, that's not distracting, and it doesn't distract from your outfit as well.
Before we move on, we have a couple more questions about shoes. There are 2 of them from Joyce. To know, what is the rule for wearing patent leather shoes only in the spring? Is there a rule about wearing patent leather only in the spring?
Well, you would be surprised to find out that you can wear patent leather all year long. And in fact, when I have clients who are just starting out and creating a professional wardrobe, I will tell them this patent leather will look good in the summer as well as in the winter. Now, here's a shocker for you, ladies, and I wasn't ready to implement this, but suede for spring. At first, I thought it was some sort of accident, but they're bringing it in through the fall. So they've kind of broken the rules a bit on the actual materials that are seasonal.
And this is probably a good time to say it's not really about following rules, but these are guidelines. You know, rules are made to be broken. I know. How do you feel about rules?
These are wonderful guidelines. I do have some hard rules for myself, but I do understand that we wear different hats. And we are all sorts of industries. And so there are going to be exceptions for a lot of different people.
A couple more questions on nail colors. Are bright colors on toes okay with a peep toe? You know, if we have our neutral fingers, but we want to have a little fun with our toes. What do you think?
So my personal opinion is I always wear something very neutral on my toes as well. But I think if you insist on wearing something bright that really just sets you apart, you just can't stand being that corporate drone, I think the most innocuous would probably be toenail color. But I'd also please recommend that maintain your pedicure. When they start getting chips on the toenails, please go back and refresh.
And so he says, what about a French manicure? You said
you
are sporting.
Yes, Marilyn, yes, I got them all. Yes.
Oh, she's taking her shoes off and she's showing us her toes. They're all French manicured. So I guess that's a yes on that.
I think
very
it's
nice.
Natural. I think it looks natural. I think it's very acceptable today.
Let's talk about hair.
Oh, hair. When it's either it's our glorious crown or it's our biggest problem in our lives, right? If we have long hair, we want short hair. If we have straight hair, we want curly hair, vice versa. But you and I have talked about, again, the television personalities are wearing their hair longer and longer. And I think people in regular society are trying to keep up with that. But I want to share, if you're seeing people on television, you say, I want these glorious locks, just here to say, you know that they are, actually, I can't remember the word. Extensions. Thank you. I'm giving the pulling extensions. So Marilyn and I talked about this at length beforehand, and really I would recommend that women actually in their later 50s that they don't wear their hair past their shoulders. I mean, I know as we age, our hair gets a little thinner, and so I would really recommend a hairstyle that flatters your face, that actually draws the attention up to your face.
But what younger women who can still grow really long, beautiful hair?
If your hair is a distraction, if you're constantly running your hands through it, flipping it from side to side, if it's getting caught in the doorways, I think it's a matter of containing it. And that's why we have this slide here. If you really want a professional look, you can back. Now, I'm not really a proponent of having a peeled onion look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there's so many wonderful hairstyles out there. Just make sure that your hairstyle is not a distraction and that is enhancing your overall look. So don't overlook it, ladies. Pay attention to your hair.
That's what so many of these keys come down to, not being a distraction. You don't want to draw major attention to these various things, parts of your head, your whatever. Here.
I also want to recommend makeup. People ask about makeup all the time. Now, I'm not a makeup artist, but I do have makeup artists on my bench, and that I can actually recommend some wonderful makeup artists. But I always recommend, please wear makeup. Wear makeup that gives you a more polished look. All right? So even a little bit of lip gloss, a little bit of mascara, just gives you a polished look.
It doesn't have to be thick, and you don't have to wear fall eyelashes and get carried away. Again, red lipsticks.
Oh, those go in and out, and if that is something that appeals to you, then go ahead and wear it.
It does. I feel naked without my lipstick.
People
around here will tell you.
What I always recommend is that it be a moist look. Okay, a dry lip and
not
a
heavy
color.
gloss. Again, that's going to be a distraction.
Oh no.
Of heavy gloss. All right. So I'm all for makeup too. I guess it's just a matter of you do have to feel comfortable in what you're wearing makeup wise. And I find people tell me, but I have allergic reactions, or I just don't feel comfortable in this.
Oh,
so what do you do?
If it's been a while since you've tried makeup, try it again, because there are all different types of formulas out there for people with sensitive skin. But I would recommend it. If you haven't updated your perfume look, your makeup look. Excuse me, I'm already looking at the next.
Oh, the perfume.
slide.
You mentioned perfume, so you don't want to overwhelm with perfume. I've stopped wearing perfume when some folks.
She's interrupting her constantly.
Oh, hello. Mute your phone, please. And also, this is a good time to remind you to please jump in and ask some questions. Just give us a question in the chat box, and we will send that over to Lori. But be sure to mute your phones that we can't hear you. Here we go. Shall we move on?
Yes, we
All right.
briefly talked about perfume. So, the fourth key to a leadership look is bags and outerwear. So I have this example of a wonderful bag. So, ladies, your makeup is fantastic. You're wearing the great shoes. You're wearing the great suit or dress. But don't throw that hobo bag or that canvas bag over your shoulder and head out the door. A key to a leadership look is a great structured bag. I also recommend a leather bag. Now, Marilyn, you can get this in all price points, and I think everyone should have one. Now, it depends on the color. I chose a very beautiful light buff color here. The great color for spring was gray. It doesn't have to be a black bag, ladies, but it should be a structured bag that can hold your iPad or your files or your laptop, whatever it happens to be.
That really has a leader-like look at it.
It's the finishing touch.
You mean business. I love bags. All right. And here's a piece of outerwear.
That also goes along with the same leadership look, our bags and our outerwear. I don't want you to overlook this. An oversized or rumpled coat, no matter how wonderful your dress is underneath, if you're walking across the parking lot to a client and you've got like your windbreaker or your ski jacket over this, make sure that you have appropriate outerwear. I love a trench coat. You can have it in a myriad of colors. Just make sure that it's clean and free from stains. If it's been since the 1990s, since you've updated your outerwear, it's time to have a trimmer look.
And, okay, we're talking about bags and accessories.
Yep, our last key to a leadership look is distinctive accessories. Now, I have a slide here that every woman should have a good wristwatch. Now, I know that in a younger generation, they're using their cell phones as their timepieces, but this is also a leadership look. So a wonderful timepiece. This can be an investment piece as well. You can have leather. It can be a leather band. It can be metal and silver or gold, whatever happens to be yours.
Bracelets.
So bracelets, thank you for mentioning that. I love them. They're a wonderful accessory. If you are the type of person in your employment where you're constantly working on the computer and your bangle or your cuff is banging against the keyboard, it can be a distraction. I would
keep the bracelets after work.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge collection of them.
This is actually one of those things that often we notice when people are sitting around and we're doing meeting work, kinds of things, and the bracelets will be on and so we ask them to take them off. So you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. And also, when you're building your personal wardrobe, here are some things to keep in mind. This the picture of the diamond stud here, that some classic jewelry that you should have in your wardrobe. Pearls, like you mentioned earlier, we jumped way ahead there, and then diamond studs or something that's appropriate and classic.
There are lots of good zirconium. What is out
right.
there?
Oh,
so you don't necessarily have to shoot for the real thing.
Oh,
all the
that's
time.
right. That's right. But I don't want your jewelry to be a distraction. Now, I love jewelry. I'm all about this statement necklace. There is a time and place for those pieces. I love chandelier earrings. I don't necessarily recommend them for a leadership look with a suit, but afterward or weekend, or there's time and place for all of it. But some people don't know when that time and place is. The leadership look, classic jewelry.
No chandelier earrings when you're in that boardroom, unless you're the CEO, right? We have a question from Nancy, and Nancy says, back to jackets, thoughts on knit or sweat jackets, because they're less structured, but they're great for travel.
I wonder if she's specifically thinking about St. John's knitwear. That is absolutely a fantastic brand. It's an investment piece. They last like 10, 15 years. The thing I would recommend most is that if you are wearing a sweater jacket, that it not be too tight. You don't want it, especially if it's a longer jacket, if it's clinging to your hips, that's not a leadership look. The wonderful thing, again, about John knits, too, as being investment wear, you can actually shorten those, change the buttons, the shoulder pads out. There's wonderful things that you can do
They're classic.
Yes.
Very classic. And again, I be sure that you've got those foundation garments if you're wearing those knit suits.
If you're wearing something that's less than a St. John, then yes, it doesn't wear foundation wear.
So Jen has a question. She says, "What do you say about perfume?" I'm not sure we said very much about perfume. So what about what I said was sometimes it can be a distraction, and I remember a guy in one of our classes once specifically had a real allergy, an allergic reaction to scents and perfumes, and ever since then we've pretty much stayed away from those.
So there's some cultures where you are supposed to wear perfume. It's okay to announce yourself with your scent when you enter the room. But really, for a leadership look, you don't want to offend anyone. And you don't want to be a distraction to leadership look. So rein in the perfume. Especially a lot of us are traveling for we're in airplanes. We've been at close quarters with other people. Just be mindful of your
If you're going to wear perfume, do it with a light touch, perhaps. All right. Let's move on. More accessories?
Yes, our distinctive accessories, eyewear. Now, I used to be, in another life, a certified optician. I helped a lot of people with eyewear. I still help people with eyewear today. The great thing about eyewear is that it is as beautiful as jewelry. And the price point is such, especially online, that you can have a few pairs to actually add as an accessory to your look. But I don't want you to overlook your eyewear. Make sure that your eyewear is clean, especially if you have the silicone nose pads. They can discolor. Make sure that those stay clean. Make sure that your eyeglasses are actually in adjustment, that they're not crooked. That also is a distraction to your leadership look.
This is one of those areas where you can let some of your personal style show, some of your personality. If you're going to be going more with the traditional, the clean fit and all that, where can you let your personality shine through?
With distinctive accessories, with your jewelry, with your eyewear, with scarves. I'm not about having everyone look like a corporate drone, but just appropriate for the occasion.
She had one last question on perfume. She said, "Is there a good non-allergenic perfume?"
Oh, what a wonderful question. I'm not the expert on that, but if anyone has suggestions for that, I'm open to spread the word about a perfume that does exactly that.
We'll take that in too. We'll see if we can find out. If anybody else has a suggestion, you can write your suggestion in the chat box there. Okay, ready to move on?
Yes.
And go.
So, ladies, I love speaking to women's groups about a capsulized wardrobe. I have 30 items that every woman should own in her wardrobe. But today, for our leadership look, if you're just starting out in the business world and you think, boy, where do I start? It's right here, ladies, this capsulized business wardrobe. Everyone should have a crisp white blouse and should have a great fitting suit in a neutral color. A black pencil skirt or navy or some sort of neutral skirt that you can actually mix with other items. A great pair of trousers. Every woman should have a black pair of pumps. Does it have to be that the heel? No, but you should have a closed toe pump, at least one pair. And then I also have loafers too. Now, these are Franco Sarto. They're a wonderful brand. They're a little bit higher heel than you'd like. You can actually wear a lower pair, but I always recommend that. A structured bag, classic jewelry, and then a statement scarf. Just a capsulized business wardrobe like that will give you a lot of different combinations, and it's a great base to creating a very usable wardrobe.
I love you do it. I brought my 5% of my closet in, because that's the only thing that I wear, 5% of what's in my closet. And I did bring a couple of scarves in, and what you did was pull together with this one scarf colors that I never would have thought about putting together before, and it just looked fabulous. And so it's really great to get another perspective. I'm glad that scarves come and go like anything else. I think they disappeared for a while, and now they're everywhere. So I'm glad to see, because they can be a real help in terms of adding color without overdoing.
That's right, and it's an easy way to update your wardrobe without spending a lot of money. You just look for the scarves in the latest colors of the season. The color for the year of 2014 is Radiant Orchid, and it's something that looks beautiful with browns, with grays, with blacks, with navies, and you can add a Radiant Orchid scarf for a big investment, and that can update your wardrobe very easily.
What about boots? We're going to be getting into the colder weather, and boots have come on really, really strong. And I'm talking about boots that come up to the knee kind of thing.
That's right.
How do you feel about that in terms of your leadership look?
I recommend a polished boot. Ladies, if you travel, I wear your boots onto the plane and then have them polished there in the airport. I'm a big proponent of that. Just make sure that, I know that there's a lot of rustic, the fried boots. That's not necessarily a leadership look, not saying that I'm against them, but really if you want that polished leadership look, then I wouldn't go with the distressed toe at this point. You can wear the low heel, high heel. There are a myriad of boots out there. Now, if you feel like you have too muscular thighs muscular abs to wear a boot, then I would recommend a bootie, and then wear a tight of the same color. It still gives the impression of a boot, and it's a very updated look.
I love that look, and something that I can manage. I can handle those real high heels and those platform heels, but I can manage those boots. I'm really glad to hear that. Okay, shall we move on? And brings us to, what were those 5 keys to a leadership look for women?
5 keys to a leadership look for women are fit, attention to detail, talking about clothing maintenance, hygiene, outerwear and bags, and distinctive accessories. And I'm going to offer my one-on-one service to any of you if you would like personal advice to help you hone your leadership look.
And we'll certainly put your information up. We do have your website up here, and they can contact you at your website?
Yes.
All right, excellent. I do have just one question. Someone, Cece, missed what you had to say about those with muscular calves. That had to do with boots.
With muscular, if you cannot find a tall boot that fits your muscular calf, you can get a bootie, which would be a shoe or shortened boot right to the ankle, right below the ankle, and then wear that with an opaque tie.
What did you call it? A shootie?
Shootie. Yes.
Okay, great. Get my shooties out. We'll be all set for the fall and the winter. We have time for one last question, and that is from working women come in all shapes and sizes and ages. Not everyone is suited to that streamlined look that you were talking about, less fabric and that slim kind of streamlined look. What do you recommend for those of us who aren't airbrushed perfection?
I recommend working with a designer, because think about it, men come in all shapes and sizes too, and a proper-fitting suit can make an elderly man look like a leader by filling up the shoulders. I mean, and the same thing, a suit can do the same thing for women, but you just need a tailor to help you out with that. It's totally possible to have a leadership look regardless of the size you are.
Just make, again, all of those keys come into play no matter what size or age you are. Particularly the fit, I'm thinking. I'm very sensitive to that fit, since it's very difficult to find things that fit my 5'1" frame. And we're going to do a little work with this after we get off the webinar.
I'm looking forward to it, Marilyn.
In fact, we're going to go talk to that designer that you suggested. All right. Well, thank you so much, Lori Wynne of Fashion with Flair, our guru when it comes to wardrobes and fashion ideas and image in the working place. Thanks so much for those ideas. Keys to a leadership look for women. We're all going to get out there and look like leaders and feel like leaders. When we dress the part, we feel the part as well, and other people perceive us as leaders as well. Again, you can find Lori's information on her website, fashionwithflair.com, and if you would like to contact us for anything else that you've heard here, perhaps, what was that, John Lewis?
Yeah, the
John Lewis hose. You can contact us at speechworks.net, and we'll be glad to get back with you on that. And do let your friends know that we are recording this, and it will be available online. There will be a link on our website at speechworks.net, and we thank you all for joining us. Yes, we can send, somebody wanted to know, can we send you information via email? And yes, we absolutely can. Contact us here at Speechworks or again, Lori's website, and we'll do that. Thank you all. Happy dressing, happy fashion, and good luck to you on your leadership journey.